Up to 50,000 people have taken part in a demonstration against the government's four-year austerity plan in Dublin. The protest was organised by the Irish Congress of Trade Unions. Union leaders told protesters that the European interventions into Ireland's economic problems were weapons of economic destruction.
It was billed as a chance for ordinary people to voice their view on the crisis facing Ireland. Despite this morning's snow, it soon became clear that the protest against austerity measures and bank bailouts was going to be a big event. Protesters spanned every sector of society, from workers to the unemployed, small business owners to pensioners, and a range of social activism groups.
We're here to achieve the fall of this government for a start, because it's going to cave into the IMF and the EU.
Trying for $6 billion over 1 year is just a huge amount, you know, and we're going to send us into a backward spiral.
I feel like leaving this country. If I was 20 years younger, I'd be gone. I wouldn't be here.
As most made their way along the quays, some even took to the water. The posters, placards and slogans revealed the fury and frustration of the public. Once the crowd assembled in front of the GPO, it was clear that the people had responded to the Congress call to the streets. Organisers said Gardaí had told them the turnout was over 100,000. However, the Garda press office told journalists they put the figure at between 40 and 50,000. But whatever the actual numbers, the anger on the platform was palpable.
This is what I think of the National Recovery Plan. It used to be called the National Devastation Plan.
Where is our future life? A life with no jobs, no opportunities, long-term unemployment, high taxes and a poor standard of living.
We are calling on this government and telling them we can't pay. The purse is empty. There has to be a fairer way. Thank you.
Can I ask you for a minute's noise with one word? Out! 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 Out!
The organisers of today's event will undoubtedly be pleased with the turnout, particularly given this morning's adverse weather. The big question now, though, is will it make any difference, either to the IMF rescue plan or to the budget on the 7th of December?
Does anybody in this country or Dáil Éireann think that we can, as a people, afford to pay 6.7% on money that we didn't ask for in the first place and that has been forced upon us to bail out the banking system here and the banking system in Europe, which is in hock to this country now for £509 billion. We can't pay that money and we won't pay that money.
After the main march, which passed off peacefully, there was a further left-wing demonstration at the O'Connell Monument. Around 400 protesters then headed towards Leinster House, where they were met by a large force of Gardaí, including the guarded dog unit. One person was arrested for public order offences. The big question now is, what is the next move for the protesters, and how far will they go to make their case?
And Ingrid joins me now in studio. Ingrid, if we could, whatever about the dispute over numbers, this sends a very loud message to the government, does it not?
It certainly does, Una, and at the worst possible time for the government. Remember, not just has the government lost a by-election this week, it also is in negotiations with the IMF and the European Union in Dublin at the moment. Those discussions are very, very tight-framed. They're very, very significant. And I think to have this kind of public demonstration when the eyes of the world are on Ireland is not a good day for Brian Cowan and for the government.
And where to next for those opposed to the government's measures? What can they do given that tight time frame?
Well, that's the question. I mean, we have the suspicion that the EU bailout or the IMF bailout may be sorted out tomorrow evening or before markets close on Monday morning. We've got the budget on the 7th of December. It's a very, very tight time frame. Hard to see where they're going to go at the moment. The next big opportunity for them to voice their views is in the election.
Ingrid Miley, thank you for that.